So therefore, we generally take the actual strength of concrete as 0.67 FCK, and this is also known as the nominal strength of concrete. So therefore, talking about the RD, this is the design strength and design strength of the material. Now, in case we have two materials, one is concrete and the second one is steel. So this design strength is actually the fraction of strength of material. So here the actual strength of concrete is 0.67 times of FCK. And to get the fraction, we divide the strength by a factor which is known as the safety factor. So in case of concrete, the safety factor is representing by gamma C. Similarly for steel, the actual strength of steel, actual specified yield strength of steel is Fy, and to get the fraction, we divide the strength by a fraction. So basically we are taking the fraction of strength, and this fraction of strength should be more than or equals to the combined effect of all the design load. Now, when I talk about the design load is actually the exaggerated value of the characteristic load. So characteristic load is normal service load, which will be coming on the structure. But what we do is we exaggerate that value to some extent. For example, if the load on a building is coming with a magnitude of P, so the possibility, or I mean probability of this load, that this load will not exceed from its magnitude, is only 95%. 5% probability is that it may exceed. So for that uncertainty, what we do is we multiply, we actually exaggerate this value. I mean, we actually take care of that exceeded value by considering the partial safety factor, by multiplying this load by a factor which we are calling as partial safety factor. So this factor, for example, I have taken 1.5, it may be 1, it may be 1.2. So based on the reliability and probabilistic study, we decide what factors should be there for a particular design load, whether it is a dead load or live load or earthquake load. So different factor is there. Then, as I said, 0.67 FCK, it is the nominal compressive strength of concrete, and Fy is the nominal yield strength of the steel. So now we will see what is the value of these safety factor according to the limit state method. So first we will talk about partial safety factor for the materials, and we have two materials. One is concrete and the second one is the reinforcing steel. So as per IS code, what is the partial safety factor that we will see? So as I said, we will first find out the design strength, which is the RD value, and this RD is dependent on the safety factor of for the materials. So basically the safety factor for material depends on the limit state. So for ultimate limit state, that is the main limit state on which generally we consider our design. So in case of ultimate or limit state of collapse, the IS code has specified that safety factor for concrete will be 1.5 and safety factor for steel will be 1.15. So that is the safety factor that we are supposed to take in case of limit state method. Well, you may remember that the safety factor for concrete in case of working stress method, it was 3. And in case of steel, it was around 1.8. So you can see the safety factor are reduced here. And here in case of working stress, we used to take 3, but here in case of limit state, we are taking 1.5. Because this is more rational, more realistic. Now, here in the safety factor, you can see that we have taken higher value of safety factor for concrete. Well, why we are taking the higher value? Because as in the note, you can see a higher partial safety factor has been assigned to concrete compared to reinforcing steel, evidently because of the higher variability associated with it. Well, the quality control of concrete may not be that good as in case of the steel, because steel is manufactured in factory and their quality control is good, and therefore the variability of the strength of steel is less as compared to the concrete, because most of the time concrete is manufactured on site, and therefore the variability is more because of the other factors, like the strength of concrete may affect because of many factors. So therefore the this high variability gives the higher value of the safety factor. Now, for serviceability limit state method, the safety factor for steel and concrete, it will be 1 only. Okay, so therefore generally we take the higher value, and once we take higher value, it will take care of the serviceability limit state also. So now we will see what are the partial safety factor for loads. So in the previous slide, we have seen partial safety factor value in case of the materials for concrete and for steel. Now we will see what are the various partial safety factor for different type of load. So if you refer to this clause 36.4.1 of IS code, then there you will find a table which will be similar to this one. And in this, basically the type of load that that generally occur on the building, generally IS code has suggested three combination. One is the combination of dead load and live load, which may occur on the building. Similarly, the combination of dead load plus wind load, or dead load plus earthquake load. In that case, this is the second combination as per IS code. And the third combination is dead load plus live load plus wind load or earthquake load. So these are the combination that IS code has suggested. So now considering the first combination, so according to first combination, it means that when we consider that both of these load is occurring simultaneously on the building, what will be the safety factor for in case of collapse and in case of serviceability. So in case of limit state of collapse, the safety factor for dead load will be 1.5 and safety factor for live load will be 1.5. In this case, safety factor for wind load and earthquake will be 1. Okay. Similarly, in case of limit state of serviceability, the safety factor is 1 for dead load, 1 for live load. So the higher value will be adopted, which means 1.5 times of dead load and 1.5 times of live load will be taken. So in this case, the load combination will be adopted as 1.5 times of DL plus LL. So that is the first case. Similarly, for dead load plus wind load, in this case, the safety factor is taken as 1.5 times of dead load plus in case of wind load, it is 1.5 times of wind wind load. Okay. Or in case if we consider earthquake, that time it will become 0.9 times of DL plus 1.5 times of WL. So that is the load factor that we generally take. Well, now in our course, we will be following only the first load combination. So which means when we are going to calculate dead load and live load on our element, we will be multiplying that load with 1.5. So in our case, this will be the safety factor. So safety factor can be chosen by using this table, and this table is given in this clause. So you can refer to this clause to check the same table. So we will continue our discussion in the next part. Thank you.